We're going to be doing a works cited page, and so I want to show you about using EasyBib. Just like our headings on our papers and the margins and all of that kind of thing, works cited pages are dictated by the MLA format, and there are very specific rules about creating a works cited page. When I was in school, it was called bibliography, but now it has to be works cited. When you do your works cited page, all of the margins again are 1 inch, but there's some really strange rules for works cited. And I finally have figured out why they did it this way. It makes sense once you realize what it is they're trying to do. But notice how everything is lined up on the left-hand side of the page. The only time there's an indentation is if the works cited entry is longer than 1 line. If there's longer than 1 line, on the second line you indent 5 spaces. And the reason that it's done this way is if you're looking for a particular resource when you're looking at the works cited page, it's much easier if your eye can just go straight down the margin instead of having to look at indentions. So we know that all of those words that are lined up on the left-hand side of the page are individual and different citations. Notice something else. Just glancing over them, how do you think that these have been arranged? Does any pattern jump out at you?
Alphabetically.
Exactly. So you always alphabetize your works cited, and whether it's a works cited by the author's last name or whether it's a works cited by the name of a book or the name of an article, all of them are done in alphabetical order. Now let me show you how to use EasyBib, because this is the easiest way to go about creating your works cited page. MLA is constantly changing, and I don't think they've quite caught up on EasyBib with the new changes. Let me give you an article to do first. An article from the Revolution. This is one called "Our Kids Are Busy, but Are They Really Being Challenged?" All right, if I wanted to cite this on my works cited page, I can copy and paste the web address. Look here at the top of EasyBib. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. You have choices here: website, book, video or film, journal, database, all 59 options. There's all kinds of things that you can cite. And if you don't see it there at the top, you go into all 59 options and you can find newspaper articles, online databases. There's all kinds of things, but mostly these are usually what you'll be using. So I go to the one called website. I paste in my web address and click Cite It. And they always want you to think about whether you're using a credible source. That's what all these questions are about.
Okay.
It says they're still gathering my information. Let's see. All right. Now, none of it came up. Let me see. Let me go back again and try that again. This is not a very good example. Cite it. Well, I don't know why it's not bringing. Oh, there we go. Okay. You see, it didn't work the first time, but it worked this time. So I look to see if what they brought up is what I'm really looking for, and it looks like it is. So I'm going to click Cite This. All right. Continue to the final step. Now, this is much improved because it used to just make the citation without asking you all these things. So I need to see if I can find out who the author is. Let's see. The author is Greg Harris. Greg Harris. Oops.
No idea.
All right. The publisher, sometimes if they don't have the publisher, you can look down at the bottom.
Wait, look where she's looking.
Looks like you have to be a little bit of a detective when you do this. And it looks like to me the publisher is just The Revolution. So I'm just going to leave that blank because it doesn't list a particular author. Now, this date is very important. Lots of times it'll create it without the date, but you need to go make sure and see if you can find a date. Let's see if we can find a date. We can't find a date on the actual page, but we can find it up here in the web address. And that's 10/2017. So I'm going to put that in.
Actually, it says published on November 14th, 2017.
Where is that?
Next to where it says the article.
Oh, I see it. Okay, 10/14/2017. Okay, great. I missed that. Good catch. All right, 14/10/2017. I don't think there was a timestamp. All right, let me just look one more time and see if I see anything about a particular. I think they're their own publisher, but I don't know. Maybe I should do Alex and Brett Harris. I don't know. I'll just try that and see how that works. How about that? Alex and Brett Harris. All right. Now that I've finished putting in all the information I can find, I click Create Citation. And there it is. Now, here's the tricky part. And I am going to put a recording of this class up online so you can look at it, because this gets people confused every time. Don't fall for this copy and paste citation thing. It does not work right. Come down here to the bottom. Click your citations. You can keep adding citations and they'll appear in the right order, which is very amazing. And now, once you've clicked the check mark, we're going to click Export.
See that?
And when we click Export, it brings up this list, and we're going to click Print as Word Doc. Molly, I guess you'll try Save to Google Docs, okay? Don't ever go with copy and paste because it just doesn't turn out right. I don't know why. So I'm going to click Print as Word Doc. Now I'm going to do Download from Microsoft Word. And I'm going to open it. At least I'm going to try to open it. There we go. Then you can take this information and copy and paste it onto a separate page in your document for your report. Just don't do it from EasyBib. And here we have our downloaded Microsoft Word Works Cited page. It's perfectly formatted. All of the margins are 1 inch. Everything is double spaced. It's 12-point font. It's Times New Roman. We have in the first set of information the author's name, last name, comma, first name, period. Then we have the title of the article, and it's in quotation marks because it's an article. It does have a question mark. That's part of the title, so it shows up there. If it doesn't have a question mark, If it's just, if there's no punctuation in the title, then you would just have a period, because this is going to be separated as a section of information with a period. The next set of information is the website, the publisher. These are all separated by commas. Date. Notice how the date is done. It's 14 October 2017, and October is abbreviated because it's a month that has more than 4 letters in the name. May, June, and July all are spelled out, but everything else has more than 4 letters, and so you're abbreviating it. Then there is another comma, and there's the URL, the actual web address. There is something missing here. Even though it shows up in the information for EasyBib, for some reason it doesn't show up in the citation when they format it. So you have to put this in on internet articles, and that is the date that you actually accessed it. So we're just going to put in today's date. Accessed 14 November 2017, and of course we're abbreviating November because that's more than 4 letters. And so there is the correctly formatted works cited for the article that we just did. Let me just show you this very quickly. This book, I would have put the information in under book on EasyBib. Click on book, and this book is an easy one, Do Hard Things. And I'm going to do Cite It. Let me try it again. Ah, there we go. It seems like I'm having to do it twice every time. Okay, so that's it. See, there was a Spanish version listed below, and that's not the one I'm using, so make sure you pick the actual version that you're using. And let's see if there's any missing information. Okay, it's not orange anywhere, so all of the information is there. I'm going to click Create Citation. Here's the citation. Don't do copy and paste. Come down to the bottom. Now we're going to click both of these. Notice how they're in alphabetical order. We're going to do Export, Print as Word Doc, Download for Microsoft Word. Now let's look at our revised works cited page that includes the book that we just did on EasyBib. Notice that we now have 2 entries, and they are in alphabetical order because Harris Alex comes before Harris Greg. Here's the book, and you'll see we have 2 authors, Harris Alex and Brett Harris, the second or third or however many authors you have. The rest of them have first name, last name, followed by a period. The book title is in italics. That's the correct way to format a book title. As we mentioned before, articles are formatted by just putting quotation marks around them. Something that has changed in EasyBib in MLA since I first started doing this, in fact, it's fairly recent, is that we don't include the city of publication now. So all we have are the author, the title, the publisher, and the publication date, followed by a period. So we have a period after the author, we have a period after the title, we have a comma after the publisher, and then a period after the date. Now, since we did a revised edition of this, of course, EasyBib didn't put in the access date for your website. So if you go back and you revise your works cited page on EasyBib, you're still going to have to go back and put in the same thing that we put in before, and that was the date that you accessed the article that you were using. So it was 14 November 2017 with a period. And that's how you would do a works cited page with more than one source. Mostly you'll have more than 2 sources. And every source that you add will need to be put in alphabetical order. Sometimes it's the author's name. Sometimes if there is no author listed, it is the article name. Sometimes it's an editor name. But notice how these are lined up on the side, so you can just glance down and you can easily find the last name or the first letter of the source that you're looking for.